We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection.
What?
Attribute fan, peace and blessing. This is Derric, Rau Khu. And if you haven't heard, basically here in the past few days or so, Dr. Umar Johnson went ahead and he stopped by the Daily Rap U Cruise set and basically went ahead and, you know, talked about a few things, talked about reparations, pro-blackness, interracial dating, and even talked about the gender wars. But he got into a little bit of a heated debate, a little bit of trouble when he went ahead and started saying that black men must take responsibility for women's poor decision making. So let's play the clip real quick so that we can go ahead and actually get the full context of what he's actually talking about. And then I'll go ahead and I will share my response about that.
A black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right.
Because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have two daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you know, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to black men with black women. I mean, with white women.
With all women. You should only be with the black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America, there's
somewhere else.
In
Absolutely.
Africa. So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like if you,
I do.
If you feel
I tell sisters all the time, go to Africa. So I know sisters who marry. I just spoke with her sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never get married, I'll take
sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think there's plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of black men,
yes,
black women. So
and what I also tell black women, if
married,
you're going to go get you an African man from the continent,
right,
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated?
It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for. Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that, and then we want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father, but guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough? She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs to be more
If we was loving
selective.
our women and taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
You're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good quality men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her that.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
Wow.
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allowed Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear that.
I'm not saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right? That still don't give me a right to disrespect her, because she's still the queen of the community. Even if she's not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
There's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women.
Okay, so I can see where you have problems here. I can see where there's a lot of issues and a lot of people who disagree with what he was saying. And for the record, before we begin, let me go ahead and say that I agree with what he's saying in regards to building up the community and dealing with the whole unemployment issue. There's no reason why we should not be able to work together, regardless of who. There's no reason why we should be able to work together and come up with some ways of, applying, having jobs for those who live within our community. Okay, so I totally agree with that. But where I disagree with this whole concept that he's saying that the men, we share in the responsibility and we are the ones who are responsible for the women within the community making bad choices and decisions. In other words, they went ahead and they chose Pookie and rayrays mainly because there was no good guys. Okay, that doesn't make sense. All right, that is it just doesn't make any sense. That's saying that basically there was, for every one good guy, there was 6 or 7 Pookie and rayrays. Okay, and if that was the case, that kind of contradicts the whole thing of the whole argument that there was mass incarceration, because they didn't lock up the good guys, they locked up the Pookie and rayrays. So that doesn't make sense. All right. Now, I remember the first time I went ahead and I was listening to what Dr. Umar was saying. The first thing that popped up in my mind was what is called the cultural iceberg. And this is pretty much a diagram that I can't remember who actually created it, but it's a diagram that shows our cultural behaviors, beliefs, and values. And it explains how or why how our culture is able to go ahead and dictate our behavior, dictate how we act, dictate how we conduct ourselves in whatever settings, throughout the society. And if you look up here on the left-hand side, you'll see that basically the cultural iceberg, the left-hand side of it, it has cultural external cultures. Okay, or let me phrase that, I'm sorry, surface external cultures. Okay, these are basically cultural behaviors that we see, out on the surface. They're visible. Okay, so when we talk about these type of behaviors or these type of cultural behaviors, we're talking about the foods, the arts, physical characteristics, clothes, language, heroes, and etiquette. Okay, these are all things that, for instance, the different colors, the hairstyles and all that. This is what basically is referred to as surface external culture, okay? If you look further down, you see the deep internal culture deals with the beliefs and values, okay? We're talking about your ethics, your customs, beliefs and nationality, your family values, traditions, morals, religious practices. These are all referred to as beliefs, okay? Your cultural beliefs. A little bit further down, you see your political views, heritage, meaning of life, family attitudes, your role in the family, philosophy, and worldview. These are your deep cultural values, okay? So when you look at this from this perspective, okay, and you see individuals going ahead and they're choosing to get with whomever, okay, look at it, okay? Here we have these ladies or these women who are going ahead and they're getting pookies and rayrays. Is it based upon their ethics and customs? Is it based upon their family values and their traditions? Is it based upon their cultural beliefs? Nah. Is it based upon religious practices? No. No way. Is it based upon, their political views? Are they sleeping with these individuals because of, their heritage or, because they discuss the meaning of life or family values or philosophy and worldview? Nah. The reason why they went ahead and they slept with these individuals, they got, impregnated by them, and this goes for the guys as well. The reason why the guys go ahead and they're sleeping with these individuals is because of the surface external culture. We're talking about the arts, the foods, the physical characteristics, clothes, language, heroes, and etiquette. That's why they go ahead and they're sleeping with them. So don't tell me that you're going ahead and you got with Pookie and Ray Ray because there was nobody else that existed. No, you got with the Pookie and Ray Ray mainly because of you're dealing with a surface level of cultural behavior. That's the reason why they got with them, okay? And every decent guy knows this. Every decent woman or a woman who basically has come to terms, they know this. It has nothing to do with the fact that there was a shortage of this and that and the other. No, it wasn't a shortage. We went ahead and you got with these individuals because you were dealing with it from a surface level. Now, when I was looking at this cultural iceberg, I remember the first time I saw this, it made me think of the dikenga Congo or the Kongo Cross. Now, when I go in and I compare the cultural iceberg to the dikenga Congo, okay, or the Kongo Cross, and you talk about beliefs and values, it refers, if you're looking at the Kongo Cross, it refers to the ancestral realm. So from a cultural perspective, what we're basically saying is the reason why these individuals are going ahead and they're picking or choosing these pookies and rayrays, the reason why they're picking them is because there's no connection to the ancestral realm. There's no connection to the ancestral way of doing things. That's the reason why. And why is there no connection to the ancestral ways? Why is there no connection to the ancestors? The reason why there's a breakdown and there's no connection to the ancestors, this is where it comes or is due to slavery, okay? Slavery is the reason why there's a breakdown in this. And until we realize this, we'll continue to keep having these same problems. Now, once I went ahead and realized this and I started speaking with my ancestors about it, that's when I was shown the Ma'ankh cosmogram, okay? And the Ma'ankh cosmogram basically helped me to understand this from a Kemetic perspective of how to connect back to my ancestors, okay? And this is the reason why I keep advocating and I keep stating that you gotta have spirituality. You gotta have this ancestral connection because, just going ahead and having some book knowledge and knowing all these different facts and everything does not amount to anything if you do not have your ancestors backing you. All these individuals who claim to be conscious and do not have any spirituality, they keep putting their foot in their mouths, or they keep getting into all kind of legal issues and everything because they don't have no ancestral backing. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. If you got any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to go ahead and drop me a line. Until next time, Head to Pooh. Peace.